34 seconds. That is all it took. 34 seconds for Attorney General Pam Bondi to completely freeze after a congressman pressed play on a video she never expected to see in that room. Not a classified tape, not a leaked recording, a body cam video. Government footage, public record. A man in that video screaming at police officers, screaming "kill him," screaming "you are disgusting," at the very law enforcement officers he would later work alongside. Inside the Department of Justice, hired by Pam Bondi. Watch what happens when that video starts playing. Watch Bondi's face. Watch Jim Jordan, the committee chairman, reach for his gavel and come up completely empty. And watch 34 seconds of silence that expose something nobody in that room was ready to say out loud. You need to see this until the very end, because what happened in that hearing room is not just about one bad hire. It is about a pattern. A deliberate, documented, systematic pattern of protecting the wrong people and punishing the right ones. If you are new here, subscribe right now and turn on notifications, because what you are about to see is the most important oversight hearing of this entire year, and it has barely been covered by anyone. Let me set the scene for you. House Judiciary Committee, room 214-1, the same room where these walls have absorbed decades of political confrontation. Tuesday morning, the hearing was listed on the official schedule as a routine oversight session on DOJ budget allocations. Routine. By the time this was over, that word would never apply to this room again. Bondi arrived with her full team, 3 attorneys flanking her at the witness table, 2 senior aides positioned directly behind her, chin up, shoulders back, that posture she defaults to in these rooms. The one that says, "I have survived 30 of these hearings and you are not going to be the one who breaks me." Jim Jordan, the committee chairman, sat at the center of the dais with his sleeves rolled up, no jacket, the signal he always sends that he is in command, that he controls the tempo, that nobody moves without his permission. He was wrong about all 3 of those things today. The first 40 minutes were exactly what Bondi expected. Budget allocations, prosecutorial discretion, standard back and forth. She gave her standard non-answers, checked her phone once, looked almost bored. Jordan ran the room the way he always does, fast, aggressive, protective of his witnesses when it suits him. Then the congressman from Colorado took the microphone, and the room changed. Attorney General Bondi, 6 days ago you posted online. He read it out loud. "If you come for law enforcement, the Trump administration will come for you." He paused. "I want to show you a video, about 30 seconds, and then I will ask you some questions." The screen behind him lit up. The footage was body cam video, government footage. The kind that gets preserved in federal archives because someone wearing that camera was responding to a federal crime. A man appeared on screen, middle-aged, agitated, moving through a crowd in Washington. "You guys are disgusting." The voice was loud, raw, and completely unfiltered. "I am former law enforcement. You are the Nazi." And then 3 words that landed like a grenade in that chamber. "Kill him." Kill him at a police officer, at a man doing his job, at the exact category of person Bondi claimed 6 days ago she would defend at any cost. The video ended. The congressman looked at Bondi, Attorney General Bondi. "That man works for you now, right?" Bondi's expression did not change. She asked who he meant. The congressman told her, "His name is Jared Wise. He does work for you at the Department of Justice." Bondi confirmed it. She said yes. If you have made it this far and this matters to you, subscribe now and hit the bell. What comes next is the part no cable network fully covered, because the congressman was not finished. He laid it out one piece at a time. A federal grand jury had indicted Jared Wise on 2 felonies and 4 misdemeanors, all related to January 6th. One of those charges was forcibly assaulting, resisting, opposing, impeding, intimidating, and interfering with police, with intent to commit another felony. The man yelling, "Kill him," at officers. The man now employed by the United States Department of Justice under Pam Bondi. Bondi's response was 3 words. He was pardoned. The congressman did not raise his voice. He did not need to. You are right. He was pardoned. Pardoned for yelling, "Kill him," at police officers. And yet you expect hardworking police officers across the country to believe that you take law enforcement seriously. The room was quiet. not the polite quiet of a normal hearing, the heavy quiet of people absorbing something they had just heard and could not unhear. Bondi said nothing more on this. She had no answer that would work. Every exit was sealed before she could reach it. Jordan moved to protect her. He tried to shift the momentum. He referenced a new DOJ initiative, something about a deputy attorney general position for fraud. Standard deflection. It did not work because the congressman from Colorado was already asking his next question. He moved to the public integrity section, the office inside the DOJ criminal division known as PIN, created under President Gerald Ford after Watergate, designed specifically to investigate corruption by government officials. When you became Attorney General, the congressman said there were 35 people working in that office. There are now 2. She had gutted it. 35 prosecutors reduced to 2 in a matter of months. Bondi tried to answer the original question about where PIN was created. He cut her off. He asked about the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team next. How many people work there today? Bondi did not answer. She tried to redirect. He pressed harder. She still did not answer. He answered for her because the answer was 0. She had eliminated the team entirely, not reduced it, eliminated it. And then he said the sentence that made several journalists in the back of the room look up simultaneously. The President of the United States made $1.4 billion over the last year through cryptocurrency holdings. $1.4 billion. And the team that was supposed to enforce cryptocurrency fraud laws inside the Justice Department had been shut down, not restructured, not reorganized, deleted. Drop a comment right now. Tell me if you think that is a coincidence. Because I want to know how many people watching this actually believe those 2 facts are unrelated. Jordan banged his gavel multiple times during this exchange. He tried to restore order. He tried to stop the questions. He reclaimed time on behalf of a witness who was not his to protect. The congressman from Colorado called it out directly. What is funny about this is that the questions I have asked are not trick questions. They are not gotcha questions. They are basic questions about how the Department of Justice functions. And the unwillingness of this Attorney General to answer them in good faith is not an accident, it is the answer. Jordan looked diminished. That is the only word for it. The man who normally commands these rooms from the center of the dais looked like someone who had shown up to a fire with a cup of water. He had no control over what was happening. He had no mechanism to stop it. He could run out the clock. He could recognize other members. He could bang his gavel. But he could not explain away what the American public had just watched on that screen. He could not unshow the body cam video. He could not unconfirm that the man in it worked at the DOJ. He could not restore any of the 33 prosecutors who used to work in the public integrity section. And then something happened that nobody in the political press was prepared for. The gentlewoman from Wyoming was recognized, and the entire temperature of that hearing changed. She was not there to perform. She was not there to score points. She sat at that microphone, and she told Pam Bondi about her son, Jordan Davis, murdered. The attorneys from Bondi's own office in Florida, during Bondi's own tenure as Florida Attorney General, had handled the appeal of his killer. They had worked to uphold the life sentence. They had defended her son's name against a murderer who used prejudice as his defense. She described what that compassion meant, what it meant for a grieving family to have the rule of law stand up for them when everything else had collapsed. She asked Bondi a simple question. Yes or no? Would you agree that government officials should be respectful and supportive of victims' families as they mourn? Bondi said yes. She said it clearly. She meant it, or she performed meaning it, in a way she had not performed anything else in that room all morning. And then the congresswoman from Wyoming explained why she was asking. Because in Minnesota, 2 families were not given that same respect. Alex Prey, an ICU nurse at the VA hospital, killed by federal agents, shot at least 10 times. Filmed on his own phone recording those same agents before they took his weapon and opened fire. And the administration's response was not accountability. It was a narrative. They called him an assassin. They called him the definition of domestic terrorism. They said he was holding a gun and threatening officers. The video showed something different. The Congresswoman from Wyoming knew what it felt like to hear lies told about a dead son. She had lived it, and she looked at Pam Bondi and asked her to denounce those statements, to protect those names the way the attorneys from her own office had protected Jordan Davis. Bondi's answer was careful, measured. She spoke about ongoing investigations, active reviews, proper procedures. She did not denounce the statements. She did not protect those names. The Congresswoman did not let it go. What you are saying, she told Bondi, is that they do not deserve respect, that they do not deserve a full investigation. That is incompetence. The American people deserve better. Your non-commitment to defending the rule of law is exactly what we see from you today. Bondi said she would always stand up for survivors. The Congresswoman said those families in Minnesota had not seen any evidence of that commitment. Investigations had been slow-walked. Resources had been withdrawn. The special agent assigned to one of those cases had resigned after pressure from DOJ officials to reclassify it. Jordan moved to close out the time. The Congresswoman yielded back. The room stayed quiet for a moment longer than it should have. This is the part that gets lost when these hearings get covered as political theater. A mother who lost her son used her 5 minutes not to perform outrage, but to hold up a mirror. She showed Bondi what accountability looks like when it is working. She showed what it could look like if someone with that office actually wanted to use it that way. And the Attorney General of the United States sat there and gave her a non-answer about pending investigations. After a morning of refusing to confirm how many people work in offices she has gutted, after confirming that a man filmed yelling, "Kill him," at police now works at her department, after being unable to explain why a cryptocurrency enforcement team was eliminated while the president made $1 billion from crypto, after watching Jim Jordan fail visibly and completely to protect her from questions she could not answer. What you watched in that hearing room was not a gotcha moment. It was not one congressman landing a clever trap. It was something slower and more permanent. It was an attorney general who arrived with full confidence and a practiced posture and left with something missing. The posture was still there at the end. Chin up, shoulders back, but the room knew. The journalists knew, the committee members knew, and somewhere in that building, Jim Jordan knew that a gavel only works when people are willing to stop. And today, nobody stopped. These moments are now in the congressional record. The body cam video, the confirmation that the man in it works at DOJ, the number 2, the number 35, $1.4 billion, the names of 2 families in Minnesota who deserved better and got nothing, the gentlewoman from Wyoming speaking about her son in a room that finally went quiet for the right reasons. It is all there. It does not go away. Subscribe now. Share this everywhere. The pressure has to stay on because the question is not whether these facts exist. They are confirmed and on the record. The question is what happens when enough people see them at the same time. And we're getting very close to finding out.